What's going on, everybody? What's going on? It's your boy Seattle Rick 206. We are back. Yes, we are back. It's been a minute. It's been a while. Did you miss me? Did you miss me? Did you miss the game? Well, we back, y'all. We back. And we are back with a little bit of fire that we've added to the game now. I just I posted about the game and what's been added. So we added the uh 10% faster boats now. We have touched up the game physics and we added the race year blimp to the game. So we are moving things forward, adding things, trying to make it fun. And I actually put the new Seafarer tag in the corner, y'all, in the corner, because we were about to run some GPs for a little bit. So I appreciate you guys. I'm glad we are back. I'm glad we are back. And I know y'all missed it. So here we go. I love y'all, man. Share the video. Share the video. Those watching on YouTube, please share, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. The YouTube channel, y'all. The YouTube channel. Seattle Rick 206, aka they call him Slick. Seattle Rick 206, aka they call him Slick. And I will see you guys over there. Please, once again, like, share, and subscribe. Like and share the video here on Facebook. And I love y'all, man. I love y'all. Shout out to Team Hydro 2D, Bruce Carson, Kevin Glenn, and your boy, Seattle Rick 206. We on the race course in a minute, y'all. Peace.
We'll talk to you.
Coverage of the 2024 Apollo Mechanical Cup at Seafair, and welcome as well to our fans here along the shoreline on Lake Washington. My name is Brad Luce. I'm joined on start finish by John Walters. We had a couple technical difficulties right there involving a power outage, etc., and so we're a little late coming on the pipes right now, but we are ready to go. John, are you wired up and hearing everything?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. I think we're ready to go on this end too.
We are ready to go. And we're coming up on 30 seconds to a 5-minute mark for our Heat 1A. We've got 4 boats ready to go. Quickly, we'll run it down. It is boat number 1, the Beacon Electric with J. Michael Kelly. It's the U9, Beacon Plumbing with Corey Peabody. Dave Vilwalk is in this one, and the U27, the Miss Apollo. And rounding out our 4-boat field, it's the U40, the Flavor Pack, and Dustin Eccles. John Walters, we are inside 10 seconds to our 5-minute mark. The boats cannot leave the pit area until such time, and at that 5-minute mark right now, at that mark, there must be a crew member with physical contact with the race boat in the pit area. It appeared that they were that way as they were at the dock, and 1, 2, 3 boats are coming out right now just waiting on the Flavor Pack. But John, we've got a couple of minutes here. We need to discuss a new start procedure.
Yeah, this year a new start procedure has been implemented with a score-up buoy, and there'll be a given time that's dictated by the chief referee here as where they need to be. And basically, these days there's 2 starts before the race. They have to be at the score-up buoy at a particular time. If they're late or if they're early, they're penalized and have to start on the outside and behind everyone. And what that does is it guarantees, the score-up buoy is right at the start-finish line here. So they've got, roughly a minute and 15 seconds to get all the way back around the race course to the starting line. So once that score-up buoy, and once the score-up is good and they're inside that time frame, they've got to hustle to get around this 2-mile race course here in Seattle to get to the starting line on time, and that's really critical.
And the reason we are doing this, John, we and I speak on behalf of H1 because I was part of this particular decision. What we wanted to do was eliminate, or at least try and minimize, the amount of times we had boats disqualified before a heat even started. If you jump this score-up buoy, you're going to have to move to the outside, but you're not disqualified. As we've got boats cutting the race course, we are still fighting for lanes. So our score-up buoy is the start-finish line. Our score-up time is 1 minute and 15 seconds. So we're going to see these boats behind the start-finish line where Dave Vilwalk just crossed in the U27 Apollo. Here comes the 2 teammates. That's going to be J. Michael Kelly in the red boat on the inside. That's the Beacon Electric. Next to him is Corey Peabody in the U9 to Beacon Plumbing, looking for Dustin Eccles in the Flavor Pack. He, too, comes across the start-finish line. We saw a couple of our boats take that. We saw one of our boats cut across the race course and go to the back stretch. That is a legal maneuver where it was accomplished by Dave Vilwalk. So we're still fighting for lanes, John. It's just a little different in how we score up and have to be at the start-finish line at 1:15.
It is a little different, and it's very critical, and that's why the boats can't leave early. Your pit position can make a difference on when you get on the race course and how early you can get to the race course, and that's why the new rule reads that a crew member must be on the dock with a hand physically on the boat when the 5-minute gun goes off to prevent anyone from leaving early and getting a position on the race course that might be better for them than somebody else just because they left sooner.
So our boats are on the race course. We are at approximately 2 minutes and 8 seconds until the start. We've had, as I mentioned earlier, a power outage here on the start-finish line. It has affected Mark. 2 minutes until the start. We had a power outage up here. It has not only affected our clock system, and that's why our live stream viewers are not seeing it on the screen, but at the same time, it has affected our video feed. We are monitoring it closely for those of you watching on the web and the H1 Unlimited YouTube channel. But John, here's the first piece to the puzzle on the start procedure. The boats are at the top end of the race course at 1:35. They have to be behind the starting line at 1:15. This looks like it's not going to be a problem at all, because on my watch we've got about 8 seconds until the 1:15 mark. Here comes Dave. They're coming down. The field's coming at 16:15 mark. That looked to be clean to me. John will get it official on the radio, and it was a good score up, so everything's good now. Now here is the other piece to the puzzle. The boats are in their lanes right now, but those lanes are not yet established. They could still have a leapfrog up the backstretch. If somebody was to gain a 5 boat length advantage, they could move over on a boat to their left. They determine their lane at the entrance pin to turn 2. That is what we call the commitment buoy. That is when you commit to your lane. But John, what we saw coming off the corner and what we're looking at now, the boats are bunched up. Nobody is going to make a move from one lane to another.
No, I don't think so either, and there's not nearly enough time to do that. Jay Michael's got the inside right now, and looks like that's where he wants to be. Actually, most of the guys prefer lane 2 right here. It's a little bit better to get into there, and Dave Vilwalk's on the outside where he likes to be.
And we want to remind all our swimmers, you must be out of the water right now when the hydros are on the Ted Jones race course. It's time to get out of the water and enjoy the world's fastest race boats, the H1 Unlimited hydroplanes. John, we're squaring up and coming down to the start. We're inside 10 seconds from lane number 3. Dustin Eccles going to get down here first, but I think he's going to be a little bit on the early side. We'll have to check it. It looked like Eccles may have jumped the start, but we'll call them the way they are on the water. John, he's got a big lead down there. If he was legal, he's off to a great start, but that's a question.
He does have a big lead. He got into the turn first, and he's exiting the turn first. We've got 2 really fast boats on the inside of him, though, with Corey is pushing him really hard down the back straightaway, and J. Michael Kelly's taking the short course around on the inside lane.
I am told the start is good, so Dustin Eccles up the backstretch got about a 3 boat length lead on Corey Peabody. They get to the top end of the race course now. Peabody's pulled right up alongside Dustin Eccles. 3rd place on the inside is J. Michael Kelly saving ground on an inside lane, but Corey Peabody has driven around on the inside, gotten past Dustin Eccles. We're going to go 3 times around this 2-mile race course, and I'll tell you what, Dustin, he is flying the 40, the flavor pack, John.
Yeah, he's really got that thing rolling coming into the first turn here, and he's going to a little bit longer way around the race course. They've moved outside on him and pushed him out just a little bit. And Corey's working really hard there to keep him on the outside and not let him get around him. Jay Michael's got the shorter way around the race course, but he just doesn't seem to have the acceleration off the exit pin here as the other 2 guys are driving away from him right now. Dave's on the back, coming up the back stretch here. They're struggling with some boat speed and just trying to score some points at this point.
Who's coming in the driveway?
Top end of the race course again is still Corey Peabody and Dustin Eccles. We were told the start was good, but I don't know. We're still looking at that one coming off the top end of the course. Either way, John Walters, this is a good deck-to-deck boat race here. The Flavor Pack showing some really strong speed, and Corey just had the boat get away from him a little bit. He had to pull his foot, and that's given Dustin Eccles an opportunity here as we start lap 3 to open up a couple of boat lengths on Corey Peabody. But Peabody is inside him now. Corey turns the corner first, but it's going to be Dustin, I think, on the outside that may show his nose as they come off the pin. They are virtually side by side. Corey Peabody, here comes Eccles. John, look at him.
It looks like one boat going down the back straightaway. They're literally that close. Dustin's on the outside there with just his nose starting to stick out there a little bit, but he's got much further way around the race course. They're out in about lane 3 right now. He's coming around, starting to square up the corner a little bit. Corey's running right on the buoy line and pushing him really hard. When they come down the straightaway here, the wind's right in their face. Corey had the boat get up on him a little bit there, and he had to come off the pedals some, and that let Dustin drive out in front of him. But Corey's showing some really good speed here, but Dustin's got big time top end on him.
He really does, and you saw Corey Peabody beat him to the line right there. He beat Dustin Eccles to the finish line by about a boat length or 2. Our third place boat is going to be the Beacon Electric on the water with J. Michael Kelly, and coming home in 4th place will be the Miss Apollo with Dave Vilwalk. Corey Peabody showing some very, very solid acceleration off the corners, but you are right, John. There was certainly some top-end speed in that Flavor Pack. Dustin Eccles has got himself a fast race boat.
He absolutely does. And, unfortunately for him right now, the top end isn't really something that you can use on this course because the straightaways are so much shorter. I would gladly come down and gear a little bit, maybe a smaller propeller to get him to accelerate off the pin a little quicker, get through those turns just a little bit quicker, and that's where the race was won. Not only did he have the inside lane, but he was just superior coming off the exit pin there. He could accelerate a little bit quicker. But boy, if this were a 2.5 mile race course, I think Dustin would have the setup right there.
All right, and we are being told now officially that the 40 did jump the gun. So the 40, the Flavor Pack, and Dustin Eccles did jump the gun. He did not run an extra lap, John, but that's part of some new rules this year. Instead of running an extra lap, if somebody jumps the gun like that, we are just giving them a 1-minute penalty. So what we're going to see is that 1-minute penalty on Dustin Eccles in the Flavor Pack is more than likely going to move him back into 4th place. That one going to be joined by young Bobby King in the Miss Graham Trucking, the U12. Then it's going to be, speaking of young, Gunnar O'Farrell driving the Gutters by Keith presents Boitano Homes. That's the U35. It is a predominantly white hydroplane trimmed in green. And then one that looks to be the class of this field, but only from the standpoint that they were our top qualifier, and they have won 2 of 3 races so far this year. It's the U91, the Miss Goodman Real Estate, with young Andrew Tate behind the wheel. That boat is black and gold trimmed in white. It's beautiful, and that gold, I don't have to tell you, John, laying down a layer of gold on a boat is no easy thing to do, but that one is a thing of beauty.
It is beautiful, and they've done a really nice job preparing this boat. It always looks good. It's always, easy to inspect. Mike Hansen and all the guys down there, and this boat is, based out of Madison, Indiana, and sponsored by Goodman Realty. They are so eager and willing to, do the best job they can. Everything is nice and clean and easy to inspect. It's very transparent, and they do a great job of putting this thing on the water. They've had 2 really great races back east, and in our top qualifier here, Andrew Tate does an excellent job of making starts and getting the boat around the race course. Comes from a long line of boat racers. His father, Mark Tate, was a driver, and his grandfather, Joe Tate, drove boats. So I think it only makes sense that he comes from a long line of winners that way, and he's continuing to do so here. So I think he wants to make his dad proud. We got to see and spend a little time with Mom and Dad in Tri-Cities last weekend, and everybody here, the Mercury boat, Mercury Coffee Company, they're running really well right now. Jamie does a great job of driving that boat, and well prepared by Scott Rainey and everybody over there. The O'Farrells, a family-owned and operated company, and a family-owned and operated race team. They always have an awful lot of fun there, and Rob Graham. We said thank you to Rob Graham and all his efforts earlier in the day, and this is the boat that his team put together to represent their trucking company, and it's going to be fun. These are all great boats. They're all very similar in shape and design, and prepared really well. Got great guys driving them. I think it's going to get down to who's going to make the best start and who gets the best lane.
We are coming up on the 5-minute mark, at which time our 4 H1 Unlimiteds can come away from the dock. Those watching on the H1 Unlimited live stream can see the lids are down on 3 of our boats, probably on all 4, but our view right now shows 3. From the drone, we are 2 seconds, 1 mark. 5 minutes until the start of Heat 1B. That's your 5-minute mark, and now it is time to go boat racing. Here is who will be racing in our Heat 1B. It's the U11 Miss Mercury's Coffee with Jamie Nielsen. It is red, it is black, trimmed in white, and it is fast. Then there is the predominantly black and red U12 Graham Trucking with young Bobby King behind the wheel. The U35 Gutters by Keith presents Boitano Homes is white, trimmed in green with a checkerboard effect on the deck. It is driven by Gunnar O'Farrell. And the U91, the black, gold, and white Miss Goodman Real Estate, driven by Andrew Tate. The start of Heat 1B is just a few minutes away, and Seafair reminds you that for your own safety and the safety of those around you, everyone must be out of the water when the hydros are on the Ted Jones Racecourse. Now it's time to get out of the water and enjoy the world's fastest race boats. John Walters, I was reading some copy. What did I miss?
Well, everybody's kind of bunched up here. We've got boats cutting across the infield here to try and get a little better lane. That's Jamie Nielsen. He cut across. He's right at the start-finish line right now, going to get down into that first turn. The other 3 boats are pretty well all together in the upper turn in the bridge there. They're scoring up, trying to size each other up and still trying to get that inside lane. Like I said before, most of the guys here would prefer to be in lane 2. That seems to be the fastest lane around the race course, but lane 1 is always the shortest. So these boats turn so well, and there's not much of a handicap to be on the inside.
Keeping an eye here, just as part of this heat, I'm going to keep an eye on Gunnar O'Farrell in the U35. The Gutters by Keith presents Boitano Homes. He hooked up in a whale of a race last week against Bobby King. Yes, it was for 3rd place, but it was a doozy, and Gunnar was pretty proud of himself that he was able to pull off the victory. Well, he finds himself lined up here again with Bobby King. Now, at the top end of the race course, it's Jamie Nielsen. You were mentioning lane 2 is probably the place to be, but boy, Nielsen's got a knack of putting that boat on an inside lane.
He absolutely does, and Jamie's one of those guys. I used the phrase earlier that he tends to qualify the boat faster than the numbers would indicate, and he puts himself in a position to be in that inside lane and makes really good starts right on the money. Andrew Tate over there does the same, so there's going to be a bit of a battle here as they get a little bit closer. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see somebody try to cut across the infield lane or infield here to try and get the inside lane and give themselves an advantage.
Coming up on 2:20 to the start. Again, our boats have to be behind the start-finish line at 1:15, so they've got exactly 1 minute. 1 minute. John, this is where the 80-mile-an-hour rule comes into play. We got a couple of boats crawling up the backstretch, so that's going to be Gunnar O'Farrell and Andrew Tate. In the past, that would be a penalty, dropping below 80 miles an hour, but that's okay. That is okay for them to crawl up there like that. They don't have to worry about dropping under 80 miles an hour. If they had to go 80 miles from where they were and kill a full minute, they would never have been able to do it without jumping across the start-finish line. That's the new rule, and it looks like right now the boats are going to come off the top end of the race course with Andrew Tate sitting in lane number 1, Gunnar O'Farrell in 2. Again, this can change. Watch Gunnar up there as he comes off the top end. If he leaves room between himself and Andrew, and if somebody jumps inside him, and they are not going to, but again, we don't establish our lane. Now watch this. Here comes Jamie Nielsen. He's going to try and leapfrog across. He's got about 4 seconds to kill. Make it 2, 1. Mark, I think he is good. He's got to have 5 boat lengths to jump left. He's certainly got that. Jamie Nielsen, if he wants that inside lane, he can move over and grab it. He did do that, John. He used the new starting procedure and the score-up buoy to his advantage advantage. Now watch him pull his foot, and now he just has to defend that lane against Andrew Tate. Great move. The score up was legal.
That was an excellent move, and everything was 100% legal. The guys that got up there a little bit early, they sacrificed their speed and had to slow way down because they were so much earlier. Jamie laid back and waited for an opportunity to get after the power and just drove by everybody. Like you say, you have to have a 5-boat length overlap. You don't establish your lane until you get to the entrance pin of this turn up here. So he did an outstanding job. That's just the way it should be done.
Jamie Nielsen is in lane number 1. Andrew Tate's going to run in lane 2. It's going to be Gunnar O'Farrell in lane number 3. And on the outside, it's going to be Bobby King. Looking at my unofficial clock now, we're coming up on 13 seconds until the start. Now we are at 10. Boats are coming off the top end of the race course. Jamie Nielsen starts to put his foot in it, and they are driving hard to the line. We are for 3, 2, 1. Mark. Unofficially, it looked good from here, and it was a good 4-boat wide start as they blow down. We are being told it was a good start. Andrew's going to get down to the corner first, I think, in lane number 2, but Jamie Nielsen with that inside lane position is going to come off in first place, John. There he's getting some dividends, and look at Andrew Tate. Look at the acceleration off the corner. That's what you were talking about, John.
Yeah, they've got a great gear ratio and good propellers in there, so they're just, a rocket ship off of the corner there. Now, Jamie's in a bit of a predicament here because if when they get down there, Andrew has to hold his lane, and then that puts Jamie in a position where he's got to run right on the buoy line and not make any mistakes. We had that happen a couple of times last weekend where they took a hop, unhooked that skid fin, got in the water, and ended up upside down. So looks like Andrew's got a pretty good handle on things here right now. He's just running away from the fleet.
Lap 1 is in the books. It belongs to Andrew Tate. Then it is Jamie Nielsen and the Mercury's Coffee. I said I was going to keep an eye on young Gunnar O'Farrell. He's going to try and hook up again with Bobby King for 3rd place. But down to the lower end of the race course, you see that lane position help Jamie Nielsen. He closes up a little bit on Andrew Tate and the Goodman Real Estate, but there's what John was talking about, the acceleration off that exit pin and that U91. The boat comes out of that corner like it was shot out of a cannon. And look at Gunnar O'Farrell now making a move on the inside. Bobby King, they hooked up a week ago, and it was a gem. Gunnar's trying to run him down again on the inside.
Liberty.
Liberty Mutual is all she talks about since we saved hundreds by bundling our home and auto insurance.
Liberty.
Hey, kid. It's pronounced Bibberty.
Liberty.
Bibberty.
Liberty.
Now coming off the top end of the race course, coming down to put 2 in the books with 1 more to go. He'll get a white flag. He is Andrew Tate. He's our national high points leader. He won both races back east, and he's looking strong here at the Apollo Mechanical Cup at Seafair with 2 laps in the book. And here's the race for 3rd, and it's side by side. Gunnar O'Farrell is pulled up alongside Bobby King. Oh, they are dead even, John.
It's going to be a drag race to the finish, and you can see what's going on here. Bobby's got the top end on him and drives by him when they get to the entrance pin, but Gunnar's got the shorter way around the course on a little better acceleration. So he comes off with about a 5-boat length lead, but they're just eating that up as they go down the back straightaway. Out in front here, Andrew's driving a good clean race. He's out in front. He's kind of backed off just a little bit, and Jamie's, he's leaving a good lane for Jamie, so he's able to drive through there and be safe. They're going to probably finish just the way they're looking there, and then we'll get them to the tech truck and see what happens, and we'll see what Seth has to say.
And here comes Andrew Tate. His spotters are just telling him where the good water is, and right now they're telling him it's about lane number 4. Andrew Tate will come home in first place on a water in the U91 of Goodman Real Estate. Jamie Nielsen will come home in 2nd place in the Mercury's Coffee, and it's Gunnar O'Farrell flying the U35 Gutters by Keith presents Boitano Homes. He'll come home in 3rd place. Once again, John, he knocks off his good buddy Bobby King, and Bobby King in the U12, the Graham Trucking, will come home in 4th. I said, John, when I get one right, I got to bring it up, okay? It doesn't happen very often. I said keep an eye on Gunnar and Bobby. He got him again.
Gunnar did a great job there, and I mentioned earlier that every time Gunnar gets in the boat, he gets a little more confident, a little more secure in that thing, does a little better job. He's not doing anything silly. He's not taking any more risk than he absolutely needs to, but he's really working the boat hard. He's flying the thing down the straightaways and doing a great job. The crew's got it set up good with a great gear combination and propeller, and it's only going to get better for them as the day goes on, I believe.
Yeah, and John, we just got it in our ears, and I know you haven't been working with us before, but one of the new things we're getting this year from our officiating crew right above us, I keep talking about the fact that they are extremely transparent in everything they do. As you look at Gunnar and Bobby coming off the top end of the race course, I'm sure they're waving at one another there because that was a great duel. But we've had it in our ear, John, that the boats were
towards the championship heat there. I expect the same from Jamie Nielsen. He's going to make an outstanding start. I think that he'll probably want the inside lane again. Of course, Gunnar proved in the last time around that in the O'Farrell boat there that the Boyton Holmes, that he can make a good start and he can run with the Chargers as well. So obviously J. Michael Kelly out there, he doesn't have number one on his boat because he didn't do really well last year. Obviously, that's to signify that he was last year's national champion. So the race fans in Seattle here saw him pull off an amazing victory last year, not only to win the APBA coveted Gold Cup, but also to win the Seattle event, which is a major event in its own right, and so much history and everything here. This is going to be an outstanding heat, and I just look forward to a good, safe heat, good, clean driving, and the boats are really fast, and it's going to be an exciting thing, fun one to watch.
It is indeed. Apollo Mechanical Contractors. Apollo is proud to be a sponsor of Seafair. We believe in supporting events that enhance the lives of our community and help build people who build great things. Check out apollomechanical.com to learn more. John, we're looking at about 8 minutes and 25 seconds to the start of our Heat 2A. I understand Erica Allreed is in the pit area with a report. Let's turn it down to Erica. Erica, what have you got for us?
We keep saying it's not if, but when for the Miss Mercury's coffee driver Jamie Nielsen and team headed by Scott and Shannon Rainey. Coming into the weekend, Jamie said the team faced a few challenges, but are happy that they were able to overcome them and get the boat out there and put in pretty respectable speeds. Now the focus is all on the heat and being able to be there in the fight come Sunday afternoon. He said to find success in Seattle, it's going to take a Herculean effort by both crew and driver, as well as a little bit of luck, given all of the variables that come with not only racing,
is not in this particular heat, but they are hanging over the water. They are ready to go. But it's going to be the U1, the Beacon Electric, the U11, Miss Mercury's Coffee. It's going to be the U35, Gutters by Keith presents Boitano Homes, and the U40, the Flavor Pack. It's the second heat of the weekend. It's Heat 2A. We will follow it with Heat 2B. Looking at the clock, coming up on 6 minutes, 1 minute to the 5. As we've talked, John, the boats can't come out on the race course until the 5 minute mark, and when they do, at that 5 minute mark, there must be a crew member with physical contact with that boat at the 5 minute mark. We saw boats in the past trying to jump that a little bit and get out a little bit early, so they changed that up. Now they've got to have contact as the crew members begin to close the lids on our craft, and we'll have them out on the water in about 35 seconds. John, our start procedure worked well. I think we'll walk through it again for our fans. They'll see it maybe for the first time, and they'll start to get used to it, and so far it continues to work well. The boats have to be behind the start-finish line at 1 minute and 15 seconds. That is our score up. They must be behind the start-finish line at 1 minute and 15 seconds before the start, and then they will determine their lanes up the backstretch after that point and confirm those lanes at the entrance to turn 2. Inside 5 minutes, and Seafair would like to take this opportunity to remind everybody of who will be racing in our Heat 2A. It is the U1, the Beacon Electric with J. Michael Kelly, a predominantly red boat trimmed in yellow. Then it's going to be the U11, the Miss Mercury's Coffee, Jamie Nielsen. The boat is black, red, and trimmed in white. Then it is the predominantly white trimmed in green and black, the U35. Gutters by Keith presents Boitano Homes. It is driven by Gunnar O'Farrell. Rounding out the field, the bright yellow and blue flavor pack. It is the U40. It's driven by Dustin Eccles. The start of Heat 2A is just a couple of minutes away. Seafair reminds you that for your own safety and the safety of those around you, everyone must be out of the water when the hydros are on the Ted Jones race course. Now it's time to get out of the water and enjoy the world's fastest race boats. It's time for Heat 2A. John Walters, as I like to say to you all the time, I've been reading copy. What did I miss? Who's cutting the course here?
Well, we've got all 4 boats on the race course here. We've got Jamie Nielsen cutting across the inside here just to make his first lap across the start-finish line, which is required. All boats have to cross the start-finish line before the start. He's backpedaled a little bit now, and he's trying to establish that inside lane, which we know is where he likes to run. Jay Michael's just exiting the turn up here. He's coming down probably in lane 2 or 3 right now. We've got the Bucket List in lane 3. And everybody's just barely on a plane right now, just kind of using up the clock, kind of sizing up the water and where they want to be. Gunnar O'Farrell's bringing everybody up on the outside here, and I think that this start procedure is really exciting. The lane choice here is really critical, and the race, even though they're not going at full speed right now, the race is on as we speak.
And for those that have been watching boat racing for many years, especially over the last 5, 6, 7 years, you're thinking, wait, these guys are going below 80 miles an hour. I think we talked about it earlier, John. We buried the 80 mile an hour rule in about 20 feet of water just out in front of us. 80 mile an hour rule is no longer in play. So Jamie Nielsen, who is crawling up the backstretch very slowly, there you see him there, those watching on the H1 Unlimited live stream, probably below 80 miles an hour, plowing a lot of water. Perfectly legal at this point. 2:30 until the start. And remember, they have to be behind the start-finish line buoy at 1 minute and 15 seconds. John, those guys are crawling up there.
They are.
But that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Jamie, made his move here to get the inside lane, which we kind of thought he'd want to do in the first place. And in doing that, he's paying the price. The price is that he had to get up there a little bit early to beat everybody up there. So now he's having to backpedal, stay behind. You don't want to be anywhere close to the score-up buoy here before he ends up, going over, which could be a big penalty for him. So he's going to run just as slow as he can and try and stay on a plane, keep it clean so that he can see. The bad thing he's doing is making some rough water down there that they're all going to find when they get around there in the first turn or the second turn of the first lap. So he's hugging the buoy. He's going fairly slow, trying to stay in control of the situation. Actually, Gunnar O'Farrell's probably in the best position right now. He's on the outside, got good clean water, got plenty of time left on the clock, and so everybody's going to be in pretty good shape.
And I'm just wondering if Jamie Nielsen coming down here slow, he might be the victim of exactly what he caused on the team the other time in the other heat when he was able to leapfrog everybody. We are 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 mark from here. It would appear a very clean score up, and Jamie Nielsen so far has held on to that inside lane. This is not the start. That was just the score up. So now the boats are down there defending their lane. Jamie Nielsen is in lane 1, got J. Michael Kelly just outside of him, and what he doesn't want to do, John, is let Mike run out in front of him, get a 5 boat length overlap and move over. I don't think that's what we're going to see. I think Jamie Nielsen in the Mercury's Coffee is going to hang right there in lane number 1. Off to his right in lane number number 2 is going to be J. Michael Kelly in the Beacon Electric. Then it is going to be Dustin Eccles in a good lane here. Lane number 3 in the U40, the flavor packet on the outside, going to be Gunnar O'Farrell. And the Gutters by Keith presents Boitano Homes. Top of the race course with 25 seconds until the start. This time, fans, when they come across start-finish line, we will be racing. It is Heat 2A of the 2024 Apollo Mechanical Cup at Seafair. It's going to be a good-looking start. We are up on 10 seconds now. Don't want to cross that line too early. We are coming up on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark, going to be close. My countdown is unofficial, John, but it's close.
It's really close. It looked like Gunnar was a little bit over right there, but we'll let them make the call when we get the picture. Now everybody else on the inside's holding a nice clean line. I think the JMK's right where he wants to be in lane number 2, and Jamie Nielsen's leading everybody coming off the exit pin.
Yeah, but is that Dustin Eccles on the outside? I believe it is. There he
here
is.
He comes. He's got a lot of top end.
Holy cow, you could see that boat on the outside. Kelly was running back in second place. We said Dustin had a lot of speed. Holy cow, is he showing it right now? Top end of the race course, Dustin Eccles. He's running in lane 3. As the boats come off the corner, you're going to see J. Michael Kelly in there somewhere. There he is between boats. But it is Dustin Eccles and Jamie Nielsen coming down here virtually side by side. Our start is under review, and Eccles has now opened up about 4, maybe 5 boat lengths on Jamie Nielsen in lane 1. Between boats, it's J. Michael Kelly, but he's back a couple of boat lengths.
Dustin is just really hooked up and rolling here. He's really going fast coming off the exit pin. He's in control of this situation now because he can move over and tighten up the radius a little bit if he needs to and not leave any more room for the boats on the inside than they absolutely have to have. But he's stretching it out here, and they're going really fast into this next turn.
I am being told, John, that we have had 2 boats that have jumped the gun. That's the U35 and the U11. So that's Gunnar O'Farrell and Jamie Nielsen. What that translates to, at least so far, we have heard nothing about Dustin Eccles in the U40, the flavor pack. Dustin driving a whale of a boat race. He puts 2 in the book, flies the U40, the flavor pack, across start-finish line. He's our leader on the water, and he also, according to the officials, is legal at the start. Second place is J. Michael Kelly, but he's running outside of Dustin Eccles. That's going to be a tall order to run him down. Dustin Eccles, John, this boat is really impressing right now.
It is. It got really good boat ride. I mean, the thing gets a little bit loose coming down the front straightaway here with the wind in his face, but he's got good control with the front wing and the canard. He's able to lay it down. Boat turns like it's on a string. JMK's on the inside of him. They're on the outside of him. Going to have to drive around. He's got the rough water to deal with and certainly the longer way around the race course. It turns out that, as they come off the exit pin here now that, Dustin's got enough room, he can move over if he wants to. He's got a 7 boat length overlap. He can run in any lane he wants, pick the clean water.
Should be a checkered flag if I can count. Dustin Eccles in the flavor pack.
Think your taxes are simple? You could file for free with H&R Block. More people qualify for H&R Block free online than
Coming from lane 3 on the outside of J. Michael Kelly, picks up the checkered flag. Kelly comes home in second place, driving the U1, the Beacon Electric. Then we had gun jumps by the U11 to Mercury's Coffee and Gunnar O'Farrell. And the Gutters by Keith presents Boitano Homes. Wow, John, we talked about it after the first heat that Dustin Eccles, he blew the start, he jumped it, he felt bad about it, but we saw an awful lot of speed. Boy, that was impressive. The 40, Dustin Eccles, and the 1, J. Michael Kelly, were both legal. They were legal as we had it.
Lane he's in. If you have to run on an outside lane, it's nice to have that top end that you can get down to that first turn first and maybe be in a position to control down there. Other boats are set up a little bit differently to where, they're looking for that punch combination to where they can accelerate real hard off the exit pin. But if you're on the outside, that top end is going to be really important. So we've got a real barn burner set up here for tomorrow.
So it was a very good heat of competition. And boy, what I'm going to remember of that heat, was when they came off of the lower corner, we could see JMK trailing in second place, but there was that boat on the outside. We had a hunch.
Yeah.
It was Dustin Eccles, and it was, as we watch him get out of the boat here on the monitor. And how about some high fives right there on the dock from crew members to Dustin Eccles, and as I said, I'm sure our Erica Allreed will be finding her way. Oh, there's how about that right there?
How about that?
He turned around and waved at the camera there for those of us. I think he was waving at you guys. I think that was it, off the monitor. He was looking up here. He turned around and waved. Dustin Eccles with a whale of a run there in our Heat 2A.
Yeah, these guys have really struggled with calls and different things that have kept them out of the winner's circle and kept them out of being in a position to win. And it's nice to see that they're just overcoming that stuff. They're working hard. They're doing the right things. Dustin's doing a great job of driving the boat, and he's always done that. He's got a couple of national championships and some of the smaller class boats, and another one that started racing outboards when he was young. So it's great to see all that hard work paying off for the guys.
So I think I see our
and construction techniques and all that sort of thing. So a lot of that stuff is interchangeable, and a lot of the people that work at Boeing are working on these race boats right now.
I think we've got Erica with Dustin Eccles down in the pit area. Erica, can you hear us?
Dustin, you told me coming into this weekend that you were really focusing on those timing marks, the setup of the boat, and getting everything dialed in, and that was on full display in that one. As you take your very first heat win of the 2024 season, you've worked so hard to get to this point, so what does it mean to do it in that fashion?
Oh, it just shows our hard work is finally paying off. It took us long enough. The last heat, I had a great boat ride, and I didn't hit the start right, and it's on me. And finally, this one all came together. All the pieces came together perfectly, and as the race unfolded, I thought, finally, this one's ours.
It was really cool to see all the pieces of the puzzle come together in that one. And as we were walking over here for the interview, you had fans cheering, giving you high fives. What does it mean to be celebrated in that way after that win?
It's the absolute best feeling ever. I think we have a lot of fans that follow our work around the circuit, and they all realize how hard that we're trying to get to this point. And finally, when it's paying off, they can celebrate with us, and that is so cool. It's the best feeling ever.
It was really cool to walk through the crowd with you after that one. A big congratulations to you and the team. A well-deserved win there. We look forward to seeing you back out there tomorrow.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Erica, and obviously an excited Dustin Eccles, as well he should be. And I don't know if you could hear it. If you couldn't, he made the comment that he had to walk with Erica, or Erica made the comment they had to walk through some fans to get to where we could talk better to them, and people were high-fiving and cheering them. That's got to feel good for a team that's looking for some success.
It does feel good, and like Dustin said, they've worked so hard. It's finally, some of that hard work is starting to pay off. The boat ride is good. The engines are working good. The propellers are working well. And hometown race for them in Seattle. They haven't always had, the best of breaks and the best of luck at this race and this race course. So, who knows? This might be the one.
Seafair would like to take this opportunity to thank the folks at Oberto. Oberto, official partner of Seafair. And iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio is the official Seafair radio partner. And certainly Seafair has exclusive television partner for this event, and the exclusive television partner of the 4th of July and Seafair weekend, King 5 and Kong TV. Thank you for your participation. And the Hyatt Regency in Seattle, they too are a partner of Seafair, and we thank all of them for their support of this wonderful event. Barnhart Crane is one of the largest heavy lift and heavy transport organizations in the United States, with over 50 years of service to our community and our customers. Barnhart prides itself on providing innovative solutions for its customers' needs. And NetTech. Most organizations struggle to find effective IT solutions. NetTech has created an IT subscription program that includes the hardware, software, security, and support so employees can focus on their work and owners can sleep at night. NetTech, thank you from Seafair for your support of this event. And Tulalip. John, this is my favorite line of any of these reads. When all you want, John, is everything. When all you want is everything, immerse yourself in Washington's premier gaming destination with AAA 4-diamond accommodations, a full-service spa, top-notch entertainment, and award-winning restaurants. It's Tulalip, and Seafair says thank you. John, we've got to be on the clock already. In fact, we are. We are inside 7 minutes to the start of our Heat 2B. Seafair, H1 Unlimited, they're trying to bring these things off in a hurry, keep the action on the water. So far, so good.
So far, so good. The drivers have all been as polite as drivers get when it comes to, leaving people room and leaving people lanes. And, we had several close calls last weekend in Tri-Cities, and I think everybody learned from that. I know that the inspectors are over there taking a look at air bottles and taking a look at the airlines and taking a look at all the things that, you hope you never need, but you want to make sure that you can guarantee they're going to be operational and everything's going to work as planned in the event that we do have a mishap or some problem there. So, congratulations to all the race teams for getting all the hard work and getting all these boats back in order and getting them running fast and running safely again. That says an awful lot. I know how much work that is. Congratulations to the drivers that are back out here, racing these boats and putting on a great show for everybody. And I expect that, all that hard work, like I said earlier, is going to pay off for everybody. And I think that it's just going to get better from here.
5 minutes and 40 seconds. 5:40 to the start of our Heat 2B at the 2024 Apollo Mechanical Cup at Seafair. Looking at the boats in our heat, we'll run them down a couple of times for you. We've got the U9 Beacon Plumbing, Corey Peabody handling the driving chores there. Going to be joined by Bobby King driving the U12, the Miss Graham Trucking. Dave Vilwalk will drive the U27, the Miss Apollo. And the U91, the Miss Goodman Real Estate, and Andrew Tate will round out our 4-boat field. John, we just found out our first and second place finishers in the previous heat have cleared the tech truck, so they are good. 5 minutes. There was the 5-minute mark right there. And that is the 5-minute mark, which means it is time to go racing. And once again, here's who will be coming out and is coming out on the water for our Heat 2B. It is the U27, the Miss Apollo, with Dave Vilwalk driving. The U9, the Beacon Plumbing, with Corey Peabody. The U12, the Miss Graham Trucking, with Bobby King doing the driving. And the U91, the Miss Goodman Real Estate, with Andrew Tate. The start of our heat is only a few minutes away, and Seafair reminds you that for your own safety and the safety of those around you, everyone must be out of the water when the hydros are on the Ted Jones Racecourse. So now it's time to get out of the water and enjoy the world's fastest race boats. John, I read my copy. Looks like we got 1, 2, 3, 4 boats on the backstretch. They're all kind of spread out like a parade route there. We'll see if anybody wants to cut across the race course, but so far, all 4 are heading up to the north end.
Yep, all 4 of them are out there and on a plane. Of course, it's extremely important to be, the first one out there to be able to get the lane and get the position that you want. The rules have been changed to help, give everybody a little better start at that. And, it takes a moment or two for the boats to spool up to where the propeller's turning fast enough to drive away from the dock. There has to be somebody from the crew, with physical contact with the boat. So, of course, that's the guy with the longest arms. But they're all out there right now, and it looks like Corey's trying to get the inside lane. Of course, Andrew Tate's coming up here next to him in lane 2. Dave Vilwalk's no stranger to this race course. He's got a nice lane, and he likes to run in lane 2 or 3 right there. And then we've got the Graham boat on the outside. Everybody's going slow, looking for that best lane.
Yeah, as they went up the backstretch, Corey Peabody was kind of trailing the field, and he decided to jump across the race course, and in doing so, he put himself in front of and on the inside of Andrew Tate in the Goodman Real Estate. We'll see if that holds, as all our boats are down. All our boats are down at the lower end of the race course. The 27, Dave Vilwalk, is on an outside lane right there. You see him pulling up alongside a couple of the boats. So right now, at least, it is Corey Peabody in 1, and next to him and just behind him on the right side there is the gold and white and black of the U91, the Goodman Real Estate. But John, there's still There's coming up on 2 minutes and 20 seconds. We are being told, John, exactly what we were talking about. Quite candidly, I looked at the monitor and I kind of wondered about it. The U-27 Dave Villwock Miss Apollo did not have a crew member with contact with the boat at the 5-minute mark. As such, they are being told to start on the outside. Not disqualified, but they must start on the outside. Coming up on 150 until the start. And we see what's happening here, John. Bobby King has decided I can't go that slow and stay behind the line at 115, so he put his foot in it. Watch him cut the race course now. That's a legal maneuver. He's going to run over to the other side, going to be behind everybody. But he will still be able to run at least in lane 3 if he can catch up to the field, which he'll do. But, John, we still got 15 seconds to clear before a legal score up.
Yeah, there's still 15 seconds. He's going to, try to get down there and run up on the outside here from everybody and pick a good, clean lane. If he can get enough time to do that, he can get out in front, get his overlap, and pick the lane that he wants.
Here comes the rest of the field across the line at about a minute 11, so clearly a clean score up. And now it is Andrew Tate running hard down to the lower end of the race course. Corey's going to run with him because Corey does not want to let Andrew have an opportunity to move over on him. That's called protecting your lane, and it appears as though Corey Peabody has definitely done it. We also have Bobby King in the Graham Trucking. He has now come across the field and legally scored up as well. He will pull up behind the boats and will be able to stick himself, at least, John, into lane number 3. If he wants to try and do a little leapfrog here on Andrew Tate, maybe he could move over. In fact, watch this, John, because he's coming up there with some speed, but I believe he's pulled his foot. He will run in lane number 3. So to the top end of the race course, Corey Peabody, Beacon Plumbing's going to be in 1. Andrew Tate's going to be in 2. Going to be Bobby King sitting in 3. On the outside's going to be Villwock. We are inside 15 seconds until the start. They come off the top end of the race course looking for Villwock. He trails the field. We are inside 10 seconds to the start. We're inside 5 seconds. We are 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark. It's going to be really close. My countdown is not official. Countdown is not official. It's Bobby King who gets down to the lower corner first, but he's got a lot of speed off to his left, John.
Yeah, that was an amazing start by Bobby. He, looked to be really out of sorts there, but did a good job of coming back. Of course, Corey Peabody on the inside is right where he wants to be. He's got the punch combination there coming off the turn down there to where he can accelerate really hard, and he hold his lane down here. He'll be in really good shape. He's looking in his mirrors right now, and those guys are getting awfully big as they come into this turn.
The U-12, Bobby King, the Graham Trucking, has jumped the start, so he has got a 1-minute penalty. But the 2 boats who won our first 2 heats of the day, Corey Peabody and the Beacon Plumbing, Andrew Tate and the Goodman Real Estate running 1-2, but it is Corey Peabody. Opened up about 2/3 of a rooster tail on Andrew Tate. This Beacon Plumbing is a rocket ship, and he's got about 5 or 6 boat lengths on Tate, as on lap number 2, they enter turn 1 at the bottom of the race course. Tell you what, this boat gets out of the corner really quick, that U9 Beacon Plumbing, but we said the same thing about Andrew Tate, and quite honestly, John, here he comes.
Yeah, he's coming up real hard on the outside there, and he's got a really good boat ride. It just seems to do everything that he wants when he needs to do it. But Corey's got some top end on here, and he's starting to stretch out the rooster tail just a little bit. That puts him in a position to, move into the lane there. I don't think he has the 7 boat lengths to where he can move out or change lanes, but at this point, I don't think he needs to. He's running right on the buoy line. He's out about lane 2.5 or so, where he's got plenty of room there. But Andrew is right in the rooster tail, and he's pushing him hard.
1 lap to go. They put 2 in the books. That's 2 out of 3. It's Corey Peabody and the Beacon Plumbing, the U9. Andrew Tate and the Goodman Real Estate, our national high points leader, trying to run down Corey Peabody at the bottom end of the race course. This is where Andrew Tate's been able to make up ground on Corey, and he's right there again. And as they come off the corner, then it's Corey who starts to move out as he gets the top end speed John was just talking about. Looks like last lap, John. Looks like the same thing.
Pretty much the same thing. Corey just snaps off the turn there, and he's got good top end as well. Andrew's got a great boat right on the outside there, and he seems to pull him just a little bit right here in the top end, but they get to the turn faster than he can really use that. So it really doesn't do him much good. It keeps him close, but won't allow him to get past him. So Corey's kind of throwing down the gauntlet here. He was last week's winner. He's running really hard, really strong here. He's putting on a show right now, and he's throwing, like I say, he's drawing the line in the sand.
Well, he just drew it with a checkered flag at the end of lap number 3. Corey Peabody in the U9 to Beacon Plumbing. He led it almost from wire to wire. He got the jump on the start taken on him by the U12 and Bobby King, but Bobby King was ruled to have jumped the start. Corey got the jump on Andrew Tate, and that was the end of that. Tate was unable to run him down. Corey, as you said, John, kind of threw down the gauntlet there. He looked really, really strong. Bobby King, he jumped the start. He does not have to run an extra lap. The new rule is we just add 1 minute to his time. Our 4th boat across the water, who is going to be our 3rd place finisher, is going to be the Miss Apollo with Dave Vilwalk, the U27. But the story of that one was 1st and 2nd place. It was Corey Peabody squaring off against the winner of our first set of heats. It was the 2 boats that won 1A and 1B. They squared off in 2B, and Corey sent a message.
Yeah, Corey did a great job of getting the boat to the starting line, going as fast as it would go, and that put Andrew in a position to, not only have to catch up just a little bit, but in that farther lane out there, Corey had a definite advantage there, and that boat turns extremely well, and the acceleration seemed to be the difference right there. So we'll make some notes here, and these boats will probably get to run against each other another time tomorrow, and we'll see if they make the final heat together, and see which one wants that inside lane.
John, I got news for you. They're going to make the final heat together.
I bet they do.
We have not seen the end of that little showdown, except if everything goes as we hope, we're going to throw a Dustin Eccles right in the middle of it just to make it fun, and with JMK, and as we said at the onset this morning, there's any one of 4 or 5 boats that can take the victory here this weekend, and I have seen nothing that is going to change our mind on that. So we are going to have our Erica Allreed find her way over to Corey Peabody and their pier. I know we get good reception on that dock, so hopefully we can get Corey here pretty quickly. Taking this opportunity to look at our schedule. It is right now on my watch, John Walters. I have 3:04. Looking at my watch, coming up at 3:10, we have the U.S. Marines F-35B demonstration, and then coming up at 3:35 this afternoon, the U.S. Navy Blue Angels. Coming up at 3:35, that is about, almost exactly 30 minutes from now. So if we can get Erica down there and grab Corey Peabody quickly before we send it over to Mark Christopher, who will take us to the air in the U.S. Marines F-35B demonstration. So, Erica, if you can hear us, jump in whenever you have the young man out of Kent, Washington. Corey Peabody's a busy guy for Strong Racing, John. As you know, he not only drives that boat, he was named in the off-season. He is team general manager for Strong Racing, working for Darrell Strong. And if you ever run across these boats on the highway, you'll see Corey Peabody driving the truck with the U9 attached to the rear end of it. And it's quite a sight when those 2 boats, of course, when any of them roll past you on the highway, or they always draw a crowd at the rest stop, that's for sure.
Yeah, and a lot of people are very interested in them, and of course some people know exactly what they are, others are a little bit confused by them. But Corey does a great job in everything that he does, and like you say, he kind of multitasks there and works a lot of different levels for them. Corey and his take a look.
There's a first day for
by Keith presents Boitano Homes, driven by Gunnar O'Farrell. Those are the 7 boats that will be on the water and the 6 that will be on the front row. That's the story as we get ready for the final heat of the Apollo Mechanical Cup at Seafair. But from the story from the pit area, let's go down to Erica Allreed at the Stan Sayers Memorial Pits.
Thanks so much, Brad. When chatting with the drivers this weekend, they all mentioned how vastly different the waters here are on Lake Washington in terms of conditions during the race. The Strong Racing duo made the analogy of it being like a bathtub. Water bounces off the log boom, the shoreline, and the docks and comes right back to them out on course. There's rollers coming in every direction, and Corey Peabody went as far to describe the waters to me as a hot mess at times, especially during that final. So aside from the typical clean start and importance of lane selection here, finding success is a matter of who can navigate this course, its water, and the unique challenges with ease, guys.
Thank you very much, Erica Allreed, for that great report down there as we get ready for our final heat. The H1 Unlimiteds that will compete for the Apollo Mechanical Cup at Seafair are being placed into Lake Washington. Those of you watching on the H1 Unlimited live stream are watching the U11 Mercury's Coffee Company as it gently gets set into the blue waters of Lake Washington. Seafair would like to take this opportunity to thank Apollo Mechanical Contractors. Apollo Mechanical Contractors is proud to be a sponsor of Seafair. We believe in supporting events that enhance the lives of our community and help build people who build great things. Check out apollomechanical.com to learn more. Seafair would like to thank Boeing. Boeing has been a Seafair sponsor since the very first festival 75 years ago. Boeing has roughly 66,000 employees in Washington State alone, more than anywhere else in the world. Thank you to Boeing for bringing us today's air show. And Barnhart Cranes. Barnhart Crane is one of the largest heavy lift and heavy transport organizations in the United States with over 50 years of service to our community and our customers. Barnhart prides itself on providing innovative solutions for its customers' needs. Fans, it's been a beautiful day and a gorgeous weekend here on the shores of Lake Washington. This is an area that we can all be proud of. This Lake Washington Boulevard area, Genesee Park, the pit area, everything is a tremendous resource and an asset of this area. Let's all work together and try and keep the park clean. A reminder that we are all guests here in this park, so please pitch in to leave the race site, including the park, the beaches, and the roadways in good condition by picking up all of your group's trash and either deposit in a trash receptacle or bag it and take it with you. Thank you for your help, and I'm sure the residents in the area will join in that thank you. And speaking of thank yous to a group of people that we haven't spoke of, but honestly, without them, this event does not happen, and that is the Seafair volunteers. Seafair thanks every one of its hundreds of volunteers for their help in putting on the Apollo Mechanical Cup and the Boeing Seafair Air Show. Without their tireless efforts and countless hours put in throughout the year by our volunteers, none of these exciting events could happen. Take a minute to say thank you to any of the Seafair volunteers you see today. They will greatly appreciate it. Seafair would also like to say thank you to the Seafair Boat Club for its help in putting on the Apollo Mechanical Cup. The Seafair Boat Club is a volunteer organization that helps plan and put on the water-oriented events of the Seafair. The Seafair event, including the Milk Carton Derby, the Seafair Holiday Cruise, and the Apollo Mechanical Cup hydroplane races. If you would like to join the Seafair Boat Club and volunteer your time and talent helping Seafair put on these events, stop by the Message Center in the pit area and find out about membership in the Seafair Boat Club. Seafair would also like to say thank you to Swire Coca-Cola, the official beverage partner of Seafair, and the Washington Athletic Club, the official athletic club of the Seafair Triathlon. Oberto, they are the official partner of Seafair, along with those previously mentioned, along with iHeartRadio, the official Seafair radio partner. A special thanks as well to King 5 and Kong, Seafair exclusive television partner of the 4th of July and Seafair Weekend. And finally, a special thank you to the Hyatt Regency in Seattle for being a partner with Seafair as well. The event does not happen without our volunteers. It does not happen without our sponsors. Thank you to all of them. Now, John Walters, to the task at hand. 6 boats going to run on the front row, and we got a couple of big differences. There's 6 boats with 1, that means a trailer. So we're going to have 7 boats on the water. We've been running 4. We've been running 3-lap preliminary heats. Now we're going to run 5. It's really going to change these water conditions.
It's going to change them a tremendous amount. These boats carry huge big skid fins on the side that just dig giant holes in them, and this is going to be an awful lot of fun to watch. There's going to be quite a race going on prior to the race. We've got at least 4 boats here that I think feel they want that inside lane, and they're all going to be shooting for that. Our new starting procedure here is going to make that even more exciting and more fun to watch, and I think that the driver and the boat that controls this first turn and can handle the rough water 5 laps into it is going to be the one that goes home with the trophy today.
That's what you were saying just a little bit ago when we were all bantering here about the upcoming final heat. Look at the drone shot there. Those watching online on the H1 Unlimited YouTube channel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 H1 Unlimited hydroplanes laying there at the dock. Quite a sight on just a beautiful Chamber of Commerce kind of day here in Seattle. And John, we're on the clock. We're at 7 minutes and 25 seconds to the start. We're going to have unlimited hydroplanes on the track in under 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Our new start procedure that you mentioned will start at the 5-minute mark. We've talked about it. Every boat must have a crew member with physical contact on that boat at the 5-minute mark. The boats will then come out on the race course and the milling period begins, and you and I have been talking about it, John. I expect there's going to be a lot of activity in what we sometimes refer to as the race before the race.
I think there will be, and I think that several of these boats, all these boats, take 25 seconds or so to be able to start and have the engine spinning enough to where the propeller's spinning enough to pull it out of somebody's hands here. So I think that in an effort to be leaving the dock right at the 5-minute gun, that these guys are going to start spooling up just a little bit early. So there may have been even some teams looking for some part-time help with little or no experience required. All they needed is long arms and a good grip.
Well, yeah, you could probably get hired real quick if you ran down there. You got about 1 minute and 20 seconds to get down there and put your hand on that boat. It is the final heat of the 2024 Apollo Mechanical Cup at Seafair. I'm Brad Luce along with John Walters. We've got Erica Allreed positioned down in the pit area. She'll be grabbing our winning driver as soon as they get off the dock. There's only one thing left to do, and that is run 5 laps around the Ted Jones race course. Water conditions, John, they appear absolutely perfect.
They are. They're very flat and very nice. I think a little bit of lumps and bumps up here by the bridge and the bulk of where the log boom is there. Those boats been moving around up and down all day long and setting up a few rollers down there. So it's typical Seattle, Washington, Lake Washington race course. It's always going to be a little bit smooth in the beginning, but it's going to roughen up in a hurry.
It will indeed. Not much left to do as we approach 30 seconds. 30 seconds to the 5-minute mark. It all comes down to this. 5 laps on the Ted Jones race course. 20 seconds.
To celebrate 2 incredible summers of soccer, when you buy a FIFA Club World Cup ticket pack, you get a guaranteed opportunity to purchase a ticket to
15 seconds. This is until the 5-minute mark. Inside 10. 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. 5 minutes. And look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boats away from the dock.
That's really impressive to see the camera work that's being done here, and those drones are just awesome. Nice job, guys.
Very, very good. That's the 5-minute mark, and now it's time to go boat racing. Here's who will be racing once again in the Apollo Mechanical Cup at Seafair in the final heat. The U1, the Beacon Electric with J. Michael Kelly. It is bright red. It is trimmed in yellow. Teammate Corey Peabody drives the Beacon Plumbing U9. It is predominantly white, trimmed in blue. Then there's the U11, the Miss Mercury's Coffee and Jamie Nielsen. That boat is black and red, trimmed in white. Then there's the red, white, and blue U27 Miss Apollo, driven by Dave Vilwalk. Dustin Eccles drives the bright blue and yellow flavor pack. That's the U40. Our front row is rounded out by the U91. The Goodman Real Estate, it is black and gold, trimmed in white. Andrew Tate handles the driving chores. Our trailer boat, the U35, Gutters by Keith, presents Boitano Homes and Gunnar O'Farrell. Boy, they must be moving, John. I looked up after
all over the race course at all different speeds, and we've already had boats cut across the course. You can see Andrew Tate and JMK up there, and everybody's looking for that inside lane and any advantage they can use to get there.
Where's Corey? We got all three of them down there at the bottom end of the race course. We got Corey, Mike, and Andrew. Well, that's an interesting triumvirate down there. We'll keep an eye on them. Corey right now sitting in one. Here's Dave coming across start-finish line in the 27, the Apollo. Remember, the 80-mile-an-hour rule is not in play. Here comes Dustin Eccles off the top of the race course here with 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Those boats up the backstretch, if they're planning on holding that line and that speed all the way to the score-up, they've got 2 minutes to kill, John.
They do. There's a lot of time left on the clock. And remember earlier today in the testing, Jamie Nielsen was up in the turn up there. He stopped the boat at one point in time and made a couple of timing runs from there to the start line. So it'll be interesting to see if he's got some special trick up his sleeve.
And he is way up there at the top end. He is at the entrance pin to the upper corner. As J. Michael Kelly says, all right, I've had enough of this trolling little game. And he's, I think, going to leapfrog the field up the backstretch there. Lots of games being played here yet as Jamie Nielsen is sitting at the top end of the race course, barely moving up there. Here comes J. Michael right alongside him. Yep, they have jumped in lanes 1 and 2. Now here comes Corey, and here comes Andrew Tate behind those two boats at the top end of the race course. Clearly the strategy, John, is they're going to stay up there, and they're going to come just slowly down behind the score up at 1:15, which is 1 minute from now. Anybody starting to move up there? Andrew Tate is a little bit. What did Tate just do? He went in and jumped into lane number 3. So he's in lane 3. Now where's Corey going to go? Corey is the 4th boat up there at the top end. Now here comes some speed up the backstretch.
Yeah, and you can look at the overhead view here. You can see lots of rollers and lots of swells that are going to be laying right there in another 2 minutes when they go right through that stuff at 185 miles an hour.
Not quite what I expected on the score up here. I didn't. Oh, and look at this maneuver out here at the top of the race course. Who is going way out there? That is Super Dave Vilwalk. Yes, Super Dave Vilwalk, and he's got somebody coming way out there with him. That is Gunnar O'Farrell, but Gunnar's going to be the trailer boat, so he's just staying behind everybody. 10 seconds until the score up. Here comes Dave with a whole bunch of speed. Is he going to try and leap across somebody? Still got 5 seconds to kill. This could be a little bit close. Look at Mike. Look at Kelly coming in. I think it's a clean score up. Kelly's coming down with a lot of speed. He's on lane number 2. Corey is in 3. Where is Andrew Tate? It's Jamie in 1, and I think JMK is in 2. Is that Corey that is in 3?
Corey's out here on the outside.
And right now, Andrew Tate is losing power down to the bottom end of the race course. Tate is down 2/3 of the way through the corner. He's still got time to get it up on speed, but he is not going to be on an inside lane. We still got 2 boats coming off the bottom end of the race course. One of those is Dustin Eccles in the flavor pack. So with 35 seconds to go before the start, it is Jamie Nielsen in the Mercury's Coffee. He is on an inside lane. Now, Andrew Tate has finally spooled up the U91. He is coming off the corner. Keep an eye on him. He's going to be flying, and he's going to come hard and charging on the outside. Lane number 2 is going to go to J. Michael Kelly. Lane number 3 is going to go to Corey Peabody. They are 1, 2, 3 off the buoy row. Vilwalk is going to be in 4. We are inside 10 seconds. Coming up on 5. Here comes the start. We are 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Mark, the start will appear to be clean from here. We'll wait until we get it from the officials. And way back is Andrew Tate in the U91, the Goodman Real Estate. I think Kelly's going to get down there first. We'll see who makes the corner first. It is J. Michael Kelly. He comes off the corner with the lead. He's got teammate Corey Peabody on his outside, and to the left on the inside, and back in 3rd place is Jamie Nielsen. John Walters, it is J. Michael Kelly.
It is. J. Michael's got an inside lane, and he's just rolling rolling up the back straight. Remember all those rollers and rough water that's down there. If he can use that to his advantage, he'll try to move some of those guys out into that water to where they can't come around him. But the boat's accelerating really well. It's got nice and flat through the turn there, and he's coming down just charging for the start-finish line.
John Walters, you said whoever controls this lower corner on lap 1 could decide the winner of this race. Right now it is J. Michael Kelly with 1 in the book and 4 to go, but it's his teammate Corey Peabody who's not going to let him go. Then it's back to 3rd place and Jamie Nielsen. Dave Villwock is in 4th, Dustin Eccles in 5th, and then it is back to Andrew Tate and the U91, the Goodman Real Estate. Off the corner on lap number 2 and up the backstretch, J. Michael Kelly. John, he's opening up water on Corey Peabody.
He is. Corey's back there where the rooster tail's very thin now. He was 4 or 5 boat lengths that they've picked up on him coming down this straightaway. JMK's got a great line out there. He's just rolling hard and trying to pick the best clean water he can. He's got overlap. He can go any lane he wants now. He can run and push around the race course, push the guys around the race course as much as he needs to.
Coming off the top end of the race course, they will come down and put 2 in the books. J. Michael Kelly driving the U1, the Beacon Electric. He is the defending Lake Washington champion. He would love nothing more than to pick up a victory here. Corey Peabody, though, just does not want to let him go. But quite honestly, he's given ground to J. Michael Kelly, his teammate. Then it's way back to Jamie Nielsen in the Mercury's Coffee. Dave Villwock driving a heck of a race here, John Walters. He's got his sights set on getting on that podium in 3rd.
Yeah, everybody's running really fast right now, and they got good combinations. The water's going to get roughen up a lot more here as they get through these turns, and that could change the order a little bit. But the 2 Beacon boats seem to be in control of the situation right now.
They are way out in front right now. It is a race out front between the Beacon Electric, the leader, and J. Michael Kelly, and the 2nd place boat. It is Corey Peabody and the Beacon Plumbing. Bill Cahill's got to be a happy man right now as his boats are running 1-2, the 2 boats he is sponsoring. Daryl and Vanessa Strong Racing boats running 1-2. J. Michael Kelly puts lap number 3 in the books. He is on lap 4 with 2 to go. Corey starts to cut in just a little bit. John, Did Corey make up some ground there?
He absolutely did. Corey's running a little bit tighter lane and trying to pinch himself as close as he can get to that rooster tail without getting pushed outside there.
Here he comes. He's coming on the outside. This is Corey Peabody's charge. This is the race for first place, and it is Corey Peabody on the outside of J. Michael Kelly. They are almost dead even up the backstretch. Kelly and Peabody, teammates, friends since they were kids, are deck to deck at the top end of the race course. Now watch them come off the pin. They'll come down and pick up the white flag with 1 to go. There's Corey. Corey on the outside. Oh, what a run we're going to have. The 2024 Mechanical Cup, the Apollo Mechanical Cup is a dead even heat with 1 to go. Peabody on the outside. He's back by a boat length. John, it does not get any better than this.
They're absolutely side by side. You really can't tell which boat's which when looking at the rooster tail, and they're both really flying to things. They both want to win this real big time. Now, we went through the stats here a little bit ago, and J. Michael Kelly needs to stay in this in order to be competing for the national championship. So he's going to give it everything he's got to win.
He's got about a boat length, maybe a boat length and a half on teammate Corey Peabody. He's halfway up the backstretch. There is 1/2 of a lap to go for the Apollo Mechanical Cup at Seafair. 2 teammates, J. Michael Kelly on the inside, Corey Peabody on the outside. This is the race for the checkered flag. Has it been closer than this at Seafair? I don't know, but here we go. It is Kelly, it is Peabody. J. Michael Kelly in the Beacon Electric is going to claim on the water the 2024 Apollo Mechanical Cup at Seafair. Wow, what a final lap. Now, coming off the top end of the course, Dave Villwock has been pushing hard, trying to run down Jamie Nielsen in the Mercury's Coffee. He's been unable to do it, and John Walters, Jamie Nielsen in the Miss Mercury's Coffee is going to come home in 3rd place. Dave Villwock will come home in 4th, and a disappointing finish for Andrew Tate in the U91, the Goodman Real Estate. The boat lost power at the bottom end of the race course before the run to the start line. He was never a factor. 5th place across the start-finish line. Make that 6th place across the line as Dustin Eccles in the Flavor Pack, and Gunnar O'Farrell will come home in 7th place on the water. One thing you're going to see, John, they talked about it at the drivers' meeting. Our chief referee asked that all drivers go all the way up to the top end of the race course and make a complete full lap before they come back to the pit area. So you're going to get one more chance to take a look at the boats and give it up for them. But J. Michael Kelly What a run for J. Michael Kelly. The officials upstairs will take a look at the racing on the water. Not sure what they'll look at, but they'll look at everything, John. But right now, we hope it stays the way just because we want it to be like it was on the water. But J. Michael Kelly drove a whale of a boat race.
He certainly did, and we talked about it earlier. That J. Michael's one of those drivers that just has the ability when you least expect it. He just comes out of nowhere, and all weekend long, every time they went in the water, it was a little better, a little faster, and he had a little better handle on things. So no real surprise there.
Liberty.
Liberty Mutual is all she talks about since we saved hundreds by bundling our home and auto insurance.
Liberty.
It's pronounced Biberty.
Liberty.
So our boats are returning to the dock. I am going to step away for one moment, John. Go ahead and talk our boats back to the dock.
All right. Well, you saw a heck of a race here. This was a great day for Beacon Plumbing, finishing first and second, at least in the unofficial finish that we've got here. Of course, all the data acquisition boxes now will come out as soon as they get back to the dock. We've got inspectors on the dock that will instruct they'll impound the first 3 boats and inspect them to pass all the technical data that needs to be done. They'll take a look and ask them to, close the cockpit as soon as the driver gets out. Nobody in it until the inspectors get there. They're welcome to take the rear wing off, the skid fin off, and the propeller off, and then they'll go through all the inspectable items, which is a pretty long list. Take a look. Seth Parcel will take a look at all the data on far as N2 and fuel flow. If there's any issues there that would change the order of finish, which you hope there's not, then they would notify them and they would move down and take the inspections on the next boats in line there. So hopefully the order that you saw is unofficial, but everybody drove a heck of a race. As I mentioned earlier, Ted Jones said he couldn't tell you who was going to win the race if he owned every boat in it, just because of days like this where unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen. So it's been a great race. It's been a great day here. The main thing is all these guys are returning their boats safely to the trailer. Everybody's healthy and happy, and I think that was been a wonderful day, a good day for the fans.
That was a whale of a final heat. When they started the 5th and final lap, there was about a boat length maybe between the 2 boats. It was pretty impressive, and I honestly thought with the way Corey closed up the backstretch on lap number 4, he started down here when he went into the lower corner. I thought he was going to get around Mike. I thought he was going to be there and maybe get around him for the victory, but JMK was able to find a few more beans, and he held off his teammate Corey Peabody.
He was pulling him pretty hard going up the back straightaway, and when they got in the rooster tails up there, they may have gotten into those lumps and bumps they left for themselves earlier, and it was hard to tell if Corey, maybe had a little bit of a problem or had to make a little bit of a correction. But at those speeds, boy, you just think about pulling your foot off the throttle for a second and you drop off. So it was a great race.
Well, these boats are very, very heavy. I don't have to explain that to you, but once you, to your point, once you pull your foot, and you start to lose some of that momentum, it doesn't come right back immediately. It takes a while to wind them back up.
It does.
So everybody pretty much has found their way back to the dock. We will start grabbing our breath back maybe a little bit. I got excited on that one, but if you were here, and I know many of you were on the shoreline, it was that good.
It was that good. That's one of the best heats that I've seen in a long time, and that one will go down in history as one of the best races ever, I'm sure.
It certainly was. So the referees are looking at action on the water. Seth in the tech truck will be looking at the data acquisition boxes there, and he'll be reading things that come out of there, and we'll see how all of that shakes out. But either way, the racing on the water was something special indeed.
Yeah, H1's been working real hard over this past winter. I've been involved in many of the competition committee meetings as a member, and that was a goal, was to put on a better show, to put on a quicker show, to let the fans, leave knowing who won the boat race. And, so far we've made big strides in doing that, and I'm really happy and really proud to be part of, some of the changes that have been taking place here, and I hope the fans see it and appreciate it too.
Yeah, we're watching on the live stream there. We're watching Corey Peabody walk down the dock. Corey Peabody comes down the dock, and J. Michael Kelly is still standing up the dock. He will have some interviews to do. So what we've been doing, John, we've been, you were talking about H1 and how we can help the fans to know who won the race when they go home. I can tell you a week ago in the Tri-Cities, I went back, watched the tape from the moment the winning boat crossed the finish line until we heard officially that Corey Peabody's boat in the U9 had cleared tech inspection was 9.5 minutes. And that was as fast as I've ever seen it. We did it in 10 minutes at the 2 races back east. They did it in 9.5, and I think the difference there was just how easy it was for a boat to roll right into the pit area. But 9.5 minutes after immediately crossing the final heat. Pretty good stuff right there.
That's very good stuff. And, with the drones and the camera shots and all the things that we have now, the technology, the young people that are involved in our sport right now that are bringing that technology with them and allowing us to, dip our toes.